Hello and welcome to the Three Musketeers, the sibling podcast that understands your Disney addiction. It is a live stream. I know I messed that up. That's okay. So this is our third live stream. I'm pretty excited about it because we're going to be talking about mine and Amanda's trip to Disney World. Amanda, you're still there, right?
I am. I'm in Animal Kingdom Lodge in Kidani Village.
Okay, awesome. That is not where I stayed with you guys. We stayed at Riviera when
Right.
I came. So I want to kind of lead us down a direction where we're talking about the Walt Disney World parks during a pandemic instead of just talking about our trip in general. I think we want to keep this a little bit more informative. What do you think about that?
Sure. Sounds good. Let's do it.
I'm curious about it because I have not been to Disney during this pandemic, so I'm curious to know.
We did invite you. So
you just didn't go.
Yes, I just want to make sure that's known that, we did invite you. You just couldn't
Some
go.
of us just can't up and leave their lives in the middle of a week, unfortunately.
Some of us just like Disney more than others, I think.
No.
I think that's true.
I don't think that's it.
So, okay, let's kind of go over the parks that we went to. We went to every single park. The first day was Epcot. Second day was Magic Kingdom. Third day, Hollywood Studios. And the last day I was there was Animal Kingdom.
Right.
Amanda, you have been there a little bit longer than me. You've hit some of the parks a couple times. Some of the parks you kind of skipped the second day. So let's go ahead and
3 times.
Yeah, lucky. Let's go ahead and talk about Epcot. We went to Epcot on Thursday. So I flew in on Thursday. You flew in on Thursday. I got there probably about an hour after the park opened.
Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously, I did the live stream at the Riviera to show the 1-bedroom. If you haven't seen that, it should be up and posted either on the YouTube channel or on the Facebook Live. It's a really nice room. I liked it a lot. Really nice hotel.
It is a really nice hotel, and the convenience to both Epcot and Hollywood Studios was amazing with the Skyliner.
Most definitely.
I have to say, I was very nervous. I do not like heights, and I was very nervous about the Skyliner when they first mentioned that they were doing that and that was the way you were going to get to Epcot and Hollywood Studios. But I can say now I am definitely a fan. It was amazing.
Yeah, unless you get stuck on the Skyliner.
We did the first actual 2 trips. We got stuck, but it was only for a few minutes. It felt like we were stuck, but I think it's just whenever you get to the end of them, the handicap cars come off the track so they can load and unload without slowing everybody else down. So I think that's probably why it stopped, is because it was getting the handicap cars off and on.
Maybe. It's not like any of them crashed into each other or anything like that.
No, nothing like that.
No, I've heard that they stop kind of a lot to load and unload handicap people. So,
yeah. Which is good. I mean, it's nice that it's just briefly and not delaying everybody for a long time. So,
yes, correct. Nice. Well, I think that it was my first time in the Skyliner. Was it your first time in the Skyliner or no?
It was, yeah. I mean, that's why I was very nervous getting on them, but I enjoyed them.
Very cool. I mean, just quick access to Epcot, to Hollywood Studios. I did not take the Skyliner to Epcot or to Hollywood Studios. I took them from Epcot and from Hollywood Studio. So, no, did I take it from Hollywood Studio?
Yeah, because we all rode together.
Okay, right? That's right. Yeah,
no, I was. No, you came out. You came back after us. Never mind.
No, that's right, because it was a rainy day.
Yeah, it was.
I did take the Skyliner back, but it was a rainy day. And you guys took the kids back a little bit earlier.
Right.
And then I stayed for Oga's Cantina for the reservation.
Lucky.
Nice.
Which was very fun, but a little boring by yourself. But that's okay.
What?
I have a question. Really, how do they do that in a pandemic? Because Oga's, the way it's set up, I mean, if you have a table, then you're sitting there with other people. And then if you're not in a table, then you're standing around the bar. So how do they do that whenever you're in a pandemic and you're supposed to be 6 feet away from each other?
So the tables were for individual parties. I didn't see like multiple parties sitting together. Whenever I
Okay.
went, there was not a whole lot of people. It wasn't like it was packed. So the bar was clear, but you have those standing tables like close to the bar. You could have those, and they set me at. I say sat. They didn't sit me out. You
You
have to
stood.
stand. Yeah,
Yeah.
I stood there at the standing table, and then other people were in the booths, and there was nobody at the bar. So,
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah,
it
and
was
they're
still social
probably
distancing and stuff like that. So,
they're probably really limiting the amount of people that are going in there as well.
probably so.
They must, because I
Okay.
tried like every other day to see if we could go since we didn't get to go that night. Even if I would have had to switch my park days around or whatever, and there was nothing available the rest of our trip.
Yeah, I'm sure it's even more limited than usual, so probably pretty hard to come by.
I really liked that there wasn't so many people there,
Mm-hmm.
just because it was a lot easier to get your orders in and get your orders to the table. I didn't
Yeah.
spend a whole lot of time there. I was probably there 25 minutes, I think, just to get my 2 drinks and leave.
Yeah.
But like I said, if other people were there, I would have stayed a little bit longer. But
I
just
think
me being the only person, it's like going to a bar by yourself. You feel like an alcoholic at that point.
you didn't meet any cool Disney chicks.
No,
That's where you
everybody's
pick up
social
all the
distancing.
Yeah,
girls.
you
No,
can't do that whenever you have to social
True, true.
distance.
you can't do it when you're social distancing, and you can't do it whenever nobody else is there by themselves.
Mm,
So,
true.
whenever you're the only person there by yourself, it's a little odd. So, okay, let's talk about Epcot. The first day, like I said, I got there about an hour after opening, and I think that specifically I want to talk about wait times in
Wait, can
all
I
of these
ask a
parks.
question right quick?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
So, what time did Epcot open? Because I know that the opening times and closing times are completely different than how they normally are during this unusual time. So, what time was opening?
11.
Yeah, it was a
11?
little bit later
Yeah.
in the day.
Yeah, so that's definitely later because I'm a rope drop kind of girl. And, rope drop is normally very early.
Yeah.
So,
Typically pretty
Nothing.
early, yes.
Yeah. Nothing opens super early.
okay.
Epcot, and that's kind of why I chose Epcot that day, was because since we were flying in and Epcot opened later, I figure we wouldn't miss quite as much of the park
Mm,
if we went that day.
yeah, I get that completely.
And it was
Yeah.
actually open a little later than the other ones too. I think it closed at 7, and most of the other parks closed at 5 or 6
Oh,
most of
wow.
the time. Yeah.
That's pretty early.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we do have Luke here. Luke sent us a comment. He said he started the live stream for the Riviera, but he's staying at the Riviera in 28 days, so he didn't want to see it just yet. Luke, be prepared because it is a very nice hotel.
It is so nice. Yeah. I was kind of spoiled. And I'm not going to say I love Animal Kingdom. It's really nice. But whenever you go from the Riviera to Animal Kingdom, it felt like almost like a step down just because of how fancy Riviera is.
Yeah. We had people in the hot tub kind of comparing it to the Grand Floridian, right?
Yeah.
They were kind of saying it was along the same vibe as the Grand Floridian. I don't think that it's nearly as good as the Grand Floridian, but it is a really
It's
nice
very
hotel.
close.
See, and I don't know. I think I would like the Riviera, but I have no interest in staying at the Grand Floridian. It's just not really my personal taste. So I'm curious
But
if I would.
they're different styles, but they're the same
fancy feeling.
Fancy feeling, yes.
Yeah.
But they're totally different styles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he did also say that he can't wait for the Skyliner, and
Hmm.
really, in all honesty, so Luke, check the running times, because they do say that it's not supposed to start running until like 10 a.m. At least while we were there, that's what it said. But we did have people telling us that they were running it at like 9 so that you could get into Hollywood Studios before it opened at 10. So I don't know. Just check the times, make sure that you're prepared for whatever day you're going to, either Epcot or to Hollywood Studios. I don't want you to miss out on anything. So, Amanda, your husband loved the Skyliner, and your 4-year-old absolutely loved it. So,
Yes, she asked every day if we could go ride on the Skyliner. I was like, we're not in that hotel anymore, so no, we can't.
oh, this is while you were at Animal Kingdom?
Yes,
Yeah.
because the day you left, we actually checked out of Riviera.
Yes. So I left on Monday morning. So I'm pretty upset that I'm not still there, but that's okay.
Well, at least you got to go.
That's true.
Yeah, I did get to go.
Don't be greedy.
Yeah. I'll be greedy if I want to be greedy. It's Disney. I can do that. All right. Wait times at Epcot. While I was there, again, we were there on Thursday, and it seemed like everything was about half the time of what it said it was. If it said
Right.
60 minutes, you're probably going to wait 30 minutes. And by that 30 minutes, you're going to be off the ride and going somewhere else. So there was only one instance where I waited longer, I think, than half the time. And that was on, surprisingly, Journey into the Imagination with Figment, because it said 10 minutes, and it was pretty close. It was between 5 to 10 minutes to get on the ride, which really surprised me. And really, the only reason why that is because you're standing 6 feet behind the next person in line. So
Yeah, because normally you just walk straight onto
Yeah.
that ride.
yeah,
So anyway,
Like,
for
I really
Figment is
expected
too
that.
long.
yeah, exactly. I really expected it to be just a walk on. So, but it wasn't, and I was severely disappointed.
Yeah. Frozen, whenever we rode Frozen, we didn't ride it the same day that you were there, but it
Right.
was what the time said it was. I think that was
Oh,
the
really?
only one. Yeah. It said it was an hour, and it took us an hour, I feel like, to get on.
That's very interesting. Where was the line, the end of the line, whenever you got in?
It was closer. I mean, it wasn't all the way to China yet.
Okay.
It was I know that sounds like I'm
All the way to
exaggerating.
China.
The Chinese
The China-
pavilion. Yeah.
The China Pavilion. It was not to the China Pavilion. It was much shorter than that. It just wrapped around the outside of Akershus.
Okay.
Okay, and
That's
so
interesting.
for people who don't know, explain. Are there fast passes or no fast passes during the pandemic?
There are no fast passes during the pandemic. They do still use the fast pass lines though. So
Yes.
for child swap or the DAS pass, they are still using those fast pass lines.
Okay, good to know.
So don't go expecting to make some fast passes.
Right. So
So
not having the fast
the-
passes made the lines go faster though.
Mm-hmm.
Just because anytime somebody was going with the child swap or the DAS pass, you noticed you were waiting a little bit longer just because they're feeding those people into the line. So everybody else in the regular line has to wait a little longer.
Yeah. But from my experience in Epcot, the entire time, it was half the wait. I stepped in line for Frozen whenever they said it was 45 minutes. And within 30 minutes, I was off the ride.
That's a nice surprise.
Yeah, it's very nice. I rode Soarin' twice. Both times it was about 15, 20 minutes, maybe.
Well, I think the time we rode Frozen that day, we basically walked on. We walked
Yeah.
right to the front of the line. The only thing we were waiting on was the people in front of us to get off the ride, basically.
Hmm.
So,
And we were first in line. Like, we got smack dab in the middle. I mean, we got the best seats in the house. It was nice.
right. I mean, I will say that that day at Epcot was probably the best whenever it came to wait times,
Yeah,
at least for me.
I agree.
It was also a Thursday, so
Yes, exactly.
I think that probably factored in as well, that it wasn't a weekend or a Friday, which is, close to a weekend.
Right.
Well, the other days that we went, though, were during the week. We went to Epcot 3 times.
Mm.
That's
Okay,
the park
well,
we went 3 times.
let's talk about Friday. Friday we went to Magic Kingdom, and Magic Kingdom seemed like it was a little bit on the same vibe as Thursday at Epcot, where you would get in line, it said it was something, and it seemed like you were half the time or maybe even less. I practically walked onto Space Mountain. It said a 30-minute wait. I was on the ride in 10 minutes. No lie.
Nice.
Which is
I was timing
crazy.
it every single time. Space Mountain in 10 minutes is absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Like, you're never going to get that again.
Mm-mm.
And then Big Thunder Mountain, I think it said 45 minutes and we waited about 20.
Right.
Nice.
Yeah, it was nice. Splash Mountain, though,
So
we were not able
Luke
to
said
ride.
he's going to bounce. So thanks for joining us, Luke. We appreciate
Thanks. Bye.
it. So our father asks, what does DAS stand for?
That's the Disability Access Services. So for anyone with a disability.
Right. And I mean, that's good to bring up because, you never know who knows the acronyms for stuff. So.
Yeah.
Right. And basically, for people who need that, you just go and you check in at a little desk in front of the ride, and they give you a return time so that you aren't waiting in the line for your time.
Yeah, it's kind of like a virtual queue.
Right.
Almost like a
basically.
fast pass.
Yeah.
Kind of, sort of. Like the old fast passes, not the new
Yeah.
ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I do want to talk about the snacks that we had at Magic Kingdom, because we did have, or at least I had 2 snacks. Amanda, you shared one with me. We had the Constance for better or for worse cake and
Right.
the Poor Unfortunate Souls float.
Which I did not get to
And
try.
You did not get to try it because you were on a ride.
I was.
And I gobbled it up because it was delicious. So let's talk about the Constance cake. The Constance cake was a little bit different than what we expected. Like, I
Yes.
expected a wedding cake,
Right.
but it was
That's
not
what I
really
did.
that.
No, it was not.
Did you not read the description?
It had been a while since we had talked
Yeah.
about that.
Mm.
Like 2 weeks.
Yeah, and just because it was talking about the mousse and stuff, we thought that it was going to be like the sheet icing that you would typically get on a wedding cake, and it was not. It was like a
Yeah.
wet icing.
Mhm.
So
I thought the icing would be over the mousse. So it would still have the mousse
Yeah, so
in
did
it,
I.
but it would be icing on the top. But basically the mousse was the icing.
yes,
Hmm.
I mean, it was okay, but it wasn't. I would not get another one.
Right. Me
You know,
either.
if you've tried it once, it's something that I don't need to eat twice.
We should probably also mention that these aren't permanent year-round snacks. These are
Right.
the limited edition
Right.
Halloween treats. And we actually talked about that in our podcast. I think it was our last podcast, right?
It was.
The
Yeah.
last
The
one
last
that was posted.
episode.
So if you
It
haven't
was.
listened to that, you should go check it out. It was a good one.
Yeah, we talked about all of the Halloween treats on that episode. It was a pretty
Yeah.
good episode. Unlike the snack.
It wasn't
really didn't
your
care for it that
personal
much.
taste, but I've
It
heard
wasn't.
people that love it. So
Yeah, I know. We did hear we overheard people talking about it and how it was great and stuff like that. And I don't know. It didn't suit me so well. Now, the Poor Unfortunate Souls float was absolutely delicious. I loved it. I highly recommend it, and I want it to stay in the parks.
You never know.
So this one is the raspberry soft serve with Coke float.
No,
No,
it is a cheesecake.
it is
or a
no.
cream cheese soft serve. Sorry,
Mm-hmm.
with raspberry syrup
Yeah.
and Coke.
And Coke.
No, it's the soft serve is purple.
But it's cream
It's
cheese
cream cheese.
flavored.
Okay. All right.
That is food coloring.
All I know is that it's raspberry flavored with the soft serve and Coke. So
Okay.
that's all I'm saying. And it was
All right.
delicious. I loved it. Yeah, I recommend it, and I highly recommend Disney keeping that in the parks.
I want to try it, so I highly recommend that as well.
Yeah. Like the, raspberry, it's fine. Coke, it's fine. Put them together, it's surprisingly amazing.
I'm just putting in a side note that we say raspberry very different.
Yep.
You
There's
say
a P in there.
raspberry.
There's a P in there.
Yeah, okay.
It's a silent P.
Nah. I see it, so I say it.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, can I ask y'all a question about this whole Disney trip thing that I've been wondering?
Go ahead.
So, I know that not all of the restaurants are open right now.
Right.
It's pretty limited. So, I was wondering if y'all found it difficult to find options for food, or if you feel like it was still, even though a lot is closed, there's still plenty of options, like at every park and everywhere you're going.
In my opinion, it was not hard finding food anywhere except Magic Kingdom.
Oh, really?
Yes.
And Magic Kingdom has so many quick service options normally. Are a lot of them closed?
They have 3 open.
Okay, can I guess which 3?
Yes.
Fun game. Is it I don't know why I can't think of it now. The not Starlight. You know the one in Tomorrowland. What is it called?
Cosmic Rays.
Cosmic Rays.
Yep, that one's open.
Okay, I figured that would be a go for sure. And then Pecos Bill.
That one's open.
Ooh, I'm nailing this. One more. I know Casey's isn't open. People have been complaining about that one. Not Columbia Harbor House, my favorite.
Nope.
Oh, you're going to have to tell me the last one. I don't know it.
I can't remember the full official name of it. It's the Pinocchio's.
Oh, Pinocchio's Village House.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. My favorite's not open.
And even though, like, some of the restaurants are open, they don't have their full menu.
Really?
So that makes it kind of difficult, too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was interested in trying Jungle Navigation Skipper Canteen.
I love Skipper Canteen.
They only have a few things on the menu. And what I wanted to try there wasn't on the menu anymore. So there's like between 4 and 6 choices. I can't remember, but there weren't a whole bunch.
That's a bummer. I wish that you could have tried that this trip. I love Skipper Canteen. It's very good.
So two things that I want to bring up real quick. So you can see Pinocchio at Pinocchio's restaurant.
Yes, he was a surprise visitor. Yeah.
So I don't know the times. I'm sure he's not out there all day, every day, but I'm sure they go on break and stuff like that. But the second thing is when you're going into a restaurant, you have to mobile order or they will not let you in. And your food has to be ready
before you can even
pick up, before you can even go in.
Right.
That's good to know.
And on some places we found that there were either no times available to pick up for the rest of the day, or it was like an hour later or 2 hours later before you could pick up. So if you're going, just make sure you order. You can put your order in early. So you can put your order in first thing in the morning and say, okay, at 3:00, I want to pick up something from this restaurant.
Yeah.
Right.
And you can do that. And I would highly recommend doing that.
That's so inconvenient though, because sometimes, when you're walking around the park, like the hunger just hits you and you want to eat.
Right.
So, or like it's really hot outside and you just want to like sit down and have lunch right then and there. So that adds an extra challenge.
Yeah. Now there are
It's not
places
going to
that you
be
can just
every
walk in
time.
though.
Yeah. It's not going to be
Like
every time that it's going to be, hours out.
right.
Yeah.
Some are like, oh, hey, you can pick up in like 15 minutes.
Right.
Okay, so if you're like really hungry, you'll just pick one of those, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
And a lot of the snack places you don't have to mobile order. Like today I was going to Gaston's for breakfast and I went
saw
to
that
go,
cinnamon roll.
I
It looked
know.
delicious.
I sent it to you on purpose.
Yeah, and I'm sitting at work and Amanda sends me a picture of this amazing looking cinnamon roll she's eating at Disney.
You're welcome.
It's mean.
I went to go do the mobile order for it, but you couldn't. So we had to go and actually stand in line and wait there. So there are places you can get food right away if you need it. It just may not be like a actual meal. It may be a snack.
Yeah. Okay. That's good to know.
So I guess let's talk about Hollywood Studios. Hollywood Studios lines were
Crazy.
pretty bad. And here's the reason why. There are no shows. There's nothing else going on except for the rides.
Now they did open after you left. They opened the Frozen sing-along. So there is one show there.
Okay. That is, and
still,
I really hate that I missed the Frozen sing-along because I love it. But okay. So I do want to mention this. I got into the park. The park was supposed to open at 10 o'clock. I got in the park at 9:15 because I was going to try to get the boarding pass for Rise of Resistance. I did not get it, which I'm pretty upset about. But instead of getting Rise of the Resistance, I did ride Mickey's Runaway Railway, or Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway.
Lucky.
Yeah. So I got in line. It said 45 minutes at 9:15, and they were already letting people on the ride before 10 o'clock. So it was legitimately 45 minutes worth of a wait, and I was on the ride at 10 o'clock.
That's really not bad for such a new ride.
It's really not. Considering we sat in line for Flight of Passage for over 3 hours, yeah, I think 45 minutes is pretty good for a newer ride.
Yeah.
And even this time at Animal Kingdom for Flight of Passage was still an hour wait. So that's still longer than what you waited for the brand new ride.
Yep. Exactly. It is very crazy.
But when we were there our second day at Hollywood Studios, we were trying to ride Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, and the line never got below like 70 minutes.
Yeah. And that's hard to wait with two kids.
It's hard with two.
So.
Yeah, like I would do it, but I am an adult with no children.
Right.
So
yeah. And the 4-year-old probably would have been fine, but 18-month-old, not so much.
Not so much. Yeah. Obviously, at Hollywood Studios, I had to ride Tower of Terror. I rode it 3 times.
You only rode it 3 times.
I know, right?
A lot less than I usually do. Usually, it's like 8 times in one
shocked.
day.
Lines are long. I mean, Hollywood Studios, the lines are long.
The lines are very long.
I mean, it says something when you wait like 40 minutes for alien swirling saucers.
Yeah.
That should not have a line.
No.
Like the shortest lines were for Toy Story Mania for some reason. Like I don't understand why that one was shorter than all the others.
Because they can fill every car on that one.
What are they doing on that one?
That's
actually? Did y'all go on it?
Yes.
So what are they doing? Because I know that is a very hands-on ride. You're pulling the little lever, you're holding the gun. What's happening with that?
From time to time, you will see rides close down and it'll say temporary closed. Mm-hmm. And that is them cleaning the cars.
But they are letting you have like your hands on the
Oh yeah.
gun and use
they
them.
have
Okay.
they have hand sanitizer everywhere. So as soon as you
Yeah.
get off the
Yes.
ride, they have hand sanitizer. Before you
Before
get on the
ride,
ride, they have
hand
hand
sanitizer.
sanitizer.
That's good.
So yeah.
I was worried that they were going to have those like the guns like covered up and wouldn't let you use them or something like that, which would obviously you don't even want to ride
Destroy
that
the
ride if
ride,
you
yeah.
can't. So okay.
Yeah.
I will say this. Do not ride Smuggler's Run by yourself because it is awful. It's a terrible experience. I hated it. I like the ride, but going by yourself, just skip it. It's not worth the wait.
I mean, if you don't have a
Oh.
pilot, do you just crash?
I don't know. I was the pilot, so I don't know.
So you just crashed anyway?
No, I made it. I made it through. Just it wasn't that great.
Well, I've only ridden Smuggler's Run once and I hated it. So
I haven't ridden it at all.
it wasn't great. When you have you know, like toddlers as your pilot and they cry the whole time because they're scared,
Yeah.
like it's an awful.
Yeah,
It was
I can
bad.
imagine.
Yeah, no, I didn't like it.
Well, give it another shot and go with enough people to fill up one car.
Yeah.
One flight group, I guess, and then
Yeah.
give it just one more shot.
Or I can just go during a pandemic and
Go
have
by
it to
yourself like I
myself.
did.
Yeah. I'll just see if I can like run from place to place. I'll ask them to make an exception if I can move from the pilot seat to the, you know, each position.
Yeah. So Chris just mentioned something. Test Track has changed because you can't design your car. Yes, you cannot design your car, but I don't think it really necessarily adds or takes away from the experience. It's still pretty much the same ride.
Yeah.
But it's a fun part of it to be able to see your car up there and like you're racing it and
right.
Yeah. So they just like move you on through that room.
Yep.
Right.
Okay. And that's going to be on any ride. If they have anything where you either group together in a large group or you are like actively touching a lot of screens. Yeah. They're just going to move you past that room.
So
like with Haunted Mansion, you don't even sit in the stretching room at all. You just walk through.
That's what I was
Same thing with
ask.
Tower of Terror.
Yeah, I was gonna ask like the pre-shows, like Tower of Terror, Dinosaur, like rides like that, Rock and Roller Coaster. What they're not doing the pre-shows. You're just walking through that room.
Yep.
That's kind of. I mean, I understand why they're doing that because they don't want people like all congregating together. But at the same time, like if this is your first time. Yes, and if this is your first time going to Disney, you're missing out on a huge part of the experience.
Right.
On certain rides, not all rides. But
I don't know that a lot of people's first experience is going to be during the pandemic.
I don't know. I have seen people in my Disney groups that it's their first time going to Disney and they might have already had this trip planned and it was their first time and they're going anyway. And some people like are finding good deals during this time, you know, things like that. So they're taking advantage of it. But
I have several clients who are going during the pandemic. So for their first trip.
That's fair.
I still think obviously go, but I think you need to go again after all of this.
The thing is, and I know a lot of other travel agents were saying they were telling their first time clients not to go, things like that. But my opinion is, if it's your first time, you don't know that you're missing something.
Yeah.
So we know that you're missing it, but you going, you don't know that you're missing anything.
Yeah.
To you, this is how it's always been. So it's not as big of a deal, I don't think, as what we are making it be.
Maybe so.
Been.
I think probably what their thought is on that is that if they go and they think that there's just not a whole lot to do, then they're never going to go again. They might leave a bad review saying, oh, well, they could have told me this or that or something. I don't know. I don't know why you wouldn't tell anybody not to go. Just warn them that not everything is open right now because of the pandemic, but it's still, I think it's still worth going.
Yeah, I think as long as you know going into it that it is different than how it normally is, and not everything is going to be available. Not all of the restaurants, not all of the shows, but it's still going to be a great time. I don't think you can go wrong with going to Disney.
I mean, how many times are you able to walk down Main Street and actually, stretch out your arms and take a picture in front of the castle without a bazillion people in it with you? Never. This is like once in a lifetime type crowds at Magic Kingdom.
Yes. And I mean, the wait times, like that makes me want to go extremely bad. I would love to ride these rides like Frozen in, what did you say, like 45 minutes? And that was your longer wait. The other time you just walked on. So, I think I would go right now.
And I think, this is only my opinion, this is not anything official from Disney, I think that they are slowly increasing capacity.
I think so too. Just
quietly.
Yeah.
Just because, I mean, it was empty before. Like, you saw the pictures and there was literally no one in any of the pictures. And now there are definitely people there, especially Hollywood Studios.
There are no passes for Hollywood Studios like the week of.
Yeah, it is packed. So, I mean, it's still not as packed as like Christmas was packed, but there's definitely a lot of people there.
Yes, because when they first opened back up, like I watch YouTubers who go to the parks all the time, and you can see a significant difference between then when they were going, and it was just like emptiness in front of them, and then now.
Yeah.
It's still not full capacity by any means, but
not at all.
Yeah.
So we do have a couple comments. Lindell says, hey, Lindell, thanks for joining us.
Hi.
Also, our dad chimes in, was the park decorated for Halloween? How long will it remain that way?
So it was, Magic Kingdom was decorated for Halloween. And it will be like that until right after Halloween. I want to say November 2nd is whenever they take the Halloween down, and they slowly start putting the Christmas up. And by the 6th of November, Christmas should be up at Magic Kingdom.
So they're not going to keep all the fall decorations up for Thanksgiving?
No, it's Christmas.
As soon as Halloween is over, it's Christmas.
Yes.
That's fair.
Because that's normally when the Christmas party starts.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Yep.
Let's
not this
talk
year,
about.
Though. Sorry.
Not this year. Let's talk about Animal Kingdom. Animal Kingdom was very similar to Hollywood Studios, in my opinion. There's not a whole lot of stuff going on other than the rides, and I mean, the wait times on the app are going to be the wait times that you see.
Right. Now, the thing about Animal Kingdom is that it didn't seem like there were as many people. Yes, there aren't as many rides there, not as much to do, but there weren't as many people as Hollywood Studios.
Right. I mean, Hollywood Studios is the most popular right now for good reason.
Right.
Tower of Terror. But
okay.
Whatever.
But no, it is probably the most popular park as of right now because it has some of the newer stuff. It has Galaxy's Edge. It has Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. Mm-hmm. So, I mean,
Toy
just
Story
those.
Land.
Yeah, Toy Story Land.
Most of the park is brand new.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, Animal Kingdom did seem like there was less people, but you're still going to wait in line for a while.
Right.
So, except for, okay, so end of the day, I went and rode on Expedition Everest at the end of the day. I waited 30 minutes. No, I take that back. It said it was 30 minutes, and I was
20.
and it took me like 15, probably closer to 20 minutes to get on. I got back in line, and I was in front of the line in 10 minutes, and like one or two cars ahead of me before I got on the ride, it shut down. And they said it was for technical difficulties. they made the people that were on the ride get off. Like they were in the cars, they were ready to take off, and they said that technical difficulties were not allowing anybody to get on the ride. The people that were on there got off. We all got escorted out, and it just so happened that it was 6:00 on the dot.
And closing time.
And closing. So
that sucks.
I kind of think that it was like, oh hey, we're closed now, go away. But I cannot confirm.
I can't imagine them letting people actually on the car
No.
for that, you know.
I've ridden Tower of Terror after closing before. So
Yeah, usually they cut off the line and say, okay, everybody in the line can go, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So-
they're
But I
not
was
going to
in
load you
line.
into the vehicle
I was in
and
line.
then tell you to get out.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. It was very odd that they were saying it was technical difficulties, but it was exactly 6:00 on the dot.
Well, I
think
think
that
it
was
might have
coincidence.
been technical difficulties, but
It
then
could have
they were
been.
like, let's just get these
Yeah.
people out of here.
Yeah.
It's technical difficulties. It's going to take at least 10 minutes to fix it. We're not staying. So.
Yeah.
But it was funny because as we were being escorted out, like everybody who was on, attending the ride were walking into the little house where you probably time in, punch in, punch out. So pretty funny. Because as we were leaving, we were walking past everybody, all the cast members who were trying to
Leave.
get out of the attraction area.
Wow.
So, but regardless, I had a fun time.
Good. So happy for you.
So
Poor Em.
Lindell asked us, did you see giraffes? We did see giraffes. We went on, that was the first thing we did at Animal Kingdom. We
safari.
went to the safari and
I love the safari.
definitely did that.
Me too.
I found someone's phone. I didn't get to grab it because it was on the ground, but I did find someone's phone and I do know exactly where it is. So
What?
They
you
dropped
didn't hear
it
me?
out of the
Yeah. It was
Yeah.
somebody's phone that dropped it obviously outside of the car. And I was just happening to look down at the ground at that time. And I was like, oh, hey, somebody's phone.
Well,
Whoops.
now that giraffes have a cell phone.
Yep. Uh-oh. We all
They have the
selfies.
technology.
And actually,
But yes,
at
Lindell,
my
we did see
hotel-
giraffes.
At my hotel, we've seen the giraffes in the Savannah area.
Cool.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Lots
pretty
of
fun.
giraffes.
We did
really
not
cool.
do the walking tour, though. At least I didn't
No.
whenever I was there. You guys, did you go a
We-
second day?
We didn't go back. We switched
Okay.
our Animal Kingdom day to another Epcot day just because we knew there wasn't a whole bunch for the kids to do. There was
Right.
like 3 things they could do. We did them: the safari, the Triceratops twirl, and the Navi River journey. That's really all there is for the kids.
Yeah.
So there just wasn't enough for us to go back for the kids.
I will say this. So be prepared if you're going during the pandemic. Whenever they shut down the rides, some of them are up and running pretty quickly. Mount Everest and Dinosaur, they were shut down for like a couple hours, it seemed
Yeah.
like.
Wow. I wonder if they just have like a more limited staff and so they're not able to get them up and running as fast if something more difficult like and major happens to it.
I don't know. Maybe if
Possible.
they didn't lay off 28,000 people, they would know. They would have
They-
enough
the-
people to clean everything.
The 28,000 weren't all from Disney World.
I know. I'm joking.
We're just throwing
Amanda.
subtle shade at Disney.
Yikes.
Yeah. So, whenever it comes to a pandemic at Disney parks, there's a lot that you're going to be missing out on, but I think at the same time, it's a good opportunity to go and really go with a focused plan on what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
So,
If you have only one chance to ever go to Disney, I would not make right now your chance to go.
Yeah.
But
Right.
if it's going to be your first trip and you plan to come back multiple times or another time in a few years, then definitely come.
Or if you've been before and you're just going to get your Disney fix, for sure go.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, definitely. That's the one that I feel the most confident towards.
Yeah. I mean, just know you're going to be missing some of the stuff that you love doing. The shows aren't all there. The character meet and greets aren't there. Amanda,
No.
it's kind of interesting. You said that you like the cavalcade idea more than you do the meet and greets.
I actually do like the cavalcades because you get to see more of the characters. So there were multiple cavalcades coming through. We saw one today that was Merida, Rapunzel, all the princesses basically in one. And then there was another one that came through with Minnie and Mickey and Donald and Daisy. And then there's one with villains that comes through. And there's one with Nightmare Before Christmas that comes through. So there are multiple options for you to see characters. And a lot of them are characters that you don't normally get a meet and greet with.
Right. But is like the villains in the Nightmare Before Christmas, that's because of the Halloween season, right? That's not necessarily something that's going to be,
right. But
December, January.
No, but I anticipate whenever Christmas comes along that they will have Christmas type characters that'll come too. I would guess.
Probably. I would assume.
Yeah, probably.
And they'll be dressed in Christmas attire and things like that. Yeah, I would assume so.
And they'll probably have Santa on one of them,
Probably so. There are a few character interactions. I'm going to use air quotes, interactions. Amanda, at Epcot, we saw Joy.
Right.
And obviously Pinocchio, upstairs in the balcony.
Today we saw Anastasia and Drizella.
Okay. I know how you feel about Anastasia and Drizella.
Yeah.
So Chewbacca and Rey and some stormtroopers.
Yep.
The Dapper Dans.
I did see the Dapper Dans.
Oh, I love the Dapper Dans.
Yeah.
So the character
bears.
interactions, the country bears were there as well, but there are interactions that you will see throughout the park that's not a cavalcade. They are just like out in the park somewhere, typically elevated, where you cannot like touch them and talk to them or anything, but
or behind
they're
barriers
there, telling you hello.
Yeah. I do hope that that's something that they keep around after all of this. Like, obviously I want them to go back to the meet and greets as well, but I hope that they keep this like sprinkled in, because I've been hearing really great things about it. And if you're not meeting characters, like, I don't typically want to go and meet the characters, but I would love to see them around the parks. Like, that's special. So I do hope that they like are hearing the feedback and that people are liking this and they do keep aspects of it.
And that's kind of why I liked them, because it feels more special, more organic whenever you just see them out instead of actually standing in line and waiting to see them.
Yeah, I agree completely.
Those meet and greets always seem awkward.
Yeah, that's why I don't do them.
One thing that I think people will miss, especially the younger of the park goers, is being able to go and do a meet and greet and get signatures.
Yeah, and that's why like I want them to bring that back. So if you choose to do that and you want to do that and your kids want to do that, you have that option. But if you don't want to do that, you still don't have to miss out on seeing the characters in the park.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Something that my family did, Jared wasn't able to participate in any of these with us, but we went to character dinings that they have right now. There was one at Topolino's Terrace for breakfast, one at Garden Grill. We did dinner, and then we also went to Hollywood and Vine for lunch. And the characters come out. They don't stop at your table, but they stop and they take pictures, or they'll come and they'll do a dance or whatever beside you. And then at the end, when your meal is over, they give you like a postcard that has all the characters on it and their signature on it. So it's kind of like you're getting an autograph, but it's a card that they're giving you.
Is it like a digital signature or is it like an actual? It seemed like the characters there signed.
I mean, it's printed front and
Okay.
back, but it looks like a signature. It's not just like typed.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. It's just, I was curious.
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was a nice little touch. And they gave us one for everybody in our party. So we got like 4 of them and all of them.
Yeah.
And they have like a cute little picture on the front and then their signatures and stuff on the back. So that's kind of nice.
So
Yeah, that's cool.
question, Amanda, for you is whenever we were at the parks, how did you feel with people wearing their mask? Did you see anybody that you were like, oh no, that's terrible? Or was it pretty much everybody's wearing their mask and social distancing?
In my experience, most people are following the rules. There are always the outliers that don't.
Right.
I saw a lot of people wearing their mask like this with their nose out. And I'm like, that totally defeats the purpose.
I know some people who love to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. And it's annoying.
Go ahead.
Did you see that the cast members were stopping those people? Like whenever they would see them, did you notice that they would stop them or do you think that they just kind of passed by without saying anything?
No, the cast members definitely stopped them if they noticed somebody not wearing their mask correctly.
That's what I'd been hearing.
Yeah. I mean, they were always nice about it.
Yeah.
But they did say, hey, your mask. Don't forget your mask.
Yeah.
Right. And they also have the announcements that are telling you, you need to wear a mask. This is how you wear your mask. Do not differ from this at all. Unless you're
people
stationary and
walking around with
and
signs. There are signs posted. I mean, there's no way you don't know how to wear your mask correctly. But there are days like sometimes it's hard. There were a couple of days when it was super, super humid. And those to me are the worst because it feels like your mask is wet the whole time. And it's so hard to breathe through it whenever it's moist. So yeah, those are tough days. I can see how it's not ideal for some people to wear the mask.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and say that majority of the people that I saw were wearing their mask correctly. I did see a few instances where people were like eating or drinking in line, which you're not supposed to be doing. I mean, even I did it from time to time. If I noticed that people were, social distancing, I would take my mask off, take a drink of water, put my mask right back on.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard because it is hot and it's humid and you want to stay hydrated. So I understand wanting to pull your mask down and take a drink.
As long as you're social distance.
Now, if you're eating a turkey leg.
Now that's different.
If you're eating a turkey leg in line, you should not be in line. You need to get out of line, go sit down somewhere, social distance, finish your food, then get in line.
Right.
But yeah.
They really don't want you walking and eating. Yeah. I mean, because people were using it as a loophole, basically.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, I'm eating and drinking so they weren't wearing their mask all day. Well, that totally defeats the purpose. And they don't want this to spread anymore. So they're trying to be cautious and safe.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, I did notice some people not necessarily doing the social distancing thing in line. They have markers on the ground. And a couple of times I noticed people were like right up against me. I'm like, okay, you gotta back up.
Yeah, I think people forget because at the grocery store, I mean, that happens all the time. And then I'll hear them go, oh, and then they'll scoot back.
Right.
I'm like, you're just not thinking about it. It's not natural. So it's like, I like the personal space personally, but
me too. It's so nice. Yeah. Until you're standing out in the sun and you're like, oh, there's shade right there. If you could just move, just 2 steps forward.
A few more feet.
Yeah.
We did have somebody jump in and say hello. Hey, Barry, how's it going?
Hello.
Hi.
Thanks for joining us. So I think that during a pandemic at the parks is a good time to go if you love Disney. If you want to go for your first time, I think that just knowing you're not going to get the full experience if you go, go. I think it's a good time.
If you want to go, go.
Yeah, if you want to go, go. Just know that most people are social distancing. Most people are wearing their mask properly. You know, the cast members are calling people out who are not social distancing and not wearing their mask properly. So you have at least a good form of comfort knowing that the cast members are going to try to keep everybody in order.
Right. Now, something to also mention, like on the rides that they do the photo pass. So you take your picture. Mm-hmm. If there is anybody in your vehicle that is not wearing their mask properly, nobody in the ride will get that picture. So be courteous to the other riders and wear your mask the correct way when you're riding rides.
Yeah.
That's so rude.
Right? So the people who are wearing it like this on the ride,
you don't get the picture?
Everybody else, you don't get the picture. So even if you're not in that party, if you're somebody else that happens to be on the same ride, then you don't get your picture.
I'm shocked.
Yeah. So just be courteous. If you do go to the parks, make sure you're wearing your mask correctly when you're on the rides.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody else have anything you want to talk about specifically?
I don't think so. I think that's all I wanted to know.
Okay. Amanda, anything that we missed?
I'm sure there is, but that's okay.
All right. Well, I guess that's going to go ahead and do it for us this live stream. So thank you everybody for joining us. We did run a little long. We're just about at an hour, but we had a lot to go over. 4 parks, and there's a lot of information that we wanted to cover to make sure everybody knows exactly what's going on in the parks during a pandemic. So join us again in 2 weeks on Thursday at 9:30 Central, and we will be here again doing another live stream. Also, you can find our podcast, The Three Mouseketeers, on Apple, Spotify, Google Play, wherever you find podcasts, you can find us. So go ahead and go there, and also go look at our YouTube channel. Our YouTube you can find at bit.ly/T3M YouTube, and that's all lowercase. So that's going to do it for us. And thanks for joining. Bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.